I was working at the hospital as an LPN nurse, paying my student loans, paying for all these other things, credit card debt, still trying to figure out how to create, seeing a bank account with barely $100, you know, and it's like, where is it all going? How is it happening, you know? And then you struggle. That's why a lot of creators like just give up. They just wither away or just stop doing what they're really passionate and what their calling is. Yep. And it sucks because they end up doing other things because money will alleviate certain things, but there's a difference between knowing that and then being greedy. You see, I believe that things will abundantly come your way once you know how to differentiate the power between wealth and happiness. No, you know, like you have to learn.
And there's a thin line.
There is a thin line, and to be aware of that is so huge.
What's up, guys? It's Adrian, and this is gonna be my first episode in my series where I interview creatives, entrepreneurs, artists, musicians, basically all kinds of creatives. And in this episode, we're gonna be talking and interviewing Jessenia. Jessenia has a really crazy background. Her history, she came from an abusive relationship. She had to go through a series of healing until the point where she is now. So she has a lot of value to give you guys, and her story, you're gonna be blown away by her story. So let's get it, and let's just jump right into this interview. Pleasure to meet you. So I've been trying to get a conversation with you for the longest.
I know.
You've been through a lot, you've grown and you've accomplished a lot. In my eyes, you're a very powerful woman.
Thank you.
And I wanted to have this interview with you because I know you can impact so many people in many, many different ways. It could be in music, it can be in creativity, in social media, it could be in so many different ways.
I appreciate you being able to see that and to notice that. Thank you.
Yes. So, who's Jessenia?
You know, it's it's so funny. A lot of people in the industry remember me as and know me as Jessenia Vice. But Jessenia Vice was a mask I hid behind and an alter ego that was fed. So Jessenia is a woman who is living in her truth and is unapologetically herself. If you're going to love me, you're gonna love me because you actually like me. If you're going to not like me, that's your choice because you may not like me. We're not everyone's cup of tea, and I'm okay with that. But I will never alter who I am again just to be loved, liked, or welcomed.
So can you talk about the 10 years ago, that Jessenia, how did you feel emotionally? What are some of the troubles you're going through, some of the issues? I know you've had a rough past. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, let's do that. So 10 years ago, it's interesting because I'm sure you see all over social media the 10-year challenge, right? Mm-hmm. And for me, I went back onto Facebook and see where was I 10 years ago. And there I was in front of paparazzi for New York Fashion Week, wearing a long sleeve blazer and a dress because I was hiding the bruises that my abuser had given me. So 10 years ago, I was coming out of an abusive relationship. 10 years ago, I was struggling with my body image. 10 years ago, I was suffering from depression and hiding behind a smile. 10 years ago, I was lost and scared and confused, not knowing where my future lied. Mm-hmm. And 10 years ago, I was definitely battling those demons and those demons that existed 10 years prior. Because for a lot of people that don't know, I'm 37, so I know I look young, but like I'm 37 and there's a lot that has gone on in my life, and there's been a lot of pain and a lot of trauma that stemmed just even as a young child, you know? And for me, did I even think about my mental health? No. Did I think about my happiness? No. I thought about everyone else but myself. And so for me, looking back at who I was then, I just wanted my parents to be proud of me. I wanted my audience to be inspired by me. I wanted to heal from my past. But what people don't realize is that healing is more than just a word or a feeling, it's work. Yeah. It is work, and it is constant, and it's nonstop. Yeah. And that I didn't know then. but I know it now.
Yeah. So what are you doing now to maintain that healing mindset or maintain that progress?
What I've been doing, and since the pandemic, is I definitely dive into books. I definitely dive into meditation. I was raised Catholic, so I understood what it's like to believe in something. But as I evolved and have gotten older, I've turned towards spirituality much more and deep-rooted than my being Catholic. So for me, it's always just to detach myself, like, oh my God, not even 10 years ago, 4 years ago, I'd be obsessed with my phone and did I get any followers? Did this get any likes? I had to literally, when the world was upside down and there was no distractions, you know how they say after 30 days, things become a habit and well, that was almost a year, right? That discipline that I learned with bodybuilding, that discipline that I learned with showing up to work, working 16 hours at the hospital, that discipline, I applied what I was learning during 2020 to keep that flowing over into 2022. And it only just has become this big ball of an effect. There are days where honestly, I have to really push through. And I have to remind myself, you have survived much worse.
Yeah.
And it's talking to yourself, learning how to talk to yourself is so key. So for me, it's just honestly having these conversations with myself and knowing who to allow into my life that's worth my energy.
So question, what do you fear? Like what's something you're afraid of right now?
Okay, so this is very interesting. I've learned this in the last 2 years of being single. I've learned how to love my alone time. I've learned how to love this peace that I found. However, I'm now afraid of what it can be allowing someone in. You know, another fear is not reaching my highest potential of the gift that I've been given here on earth.
Let's actually talk about that. If I was your younger self, what would you say to your younger self?
If I could tell my younger self something, it would be to love myself and to trust in my potential. For me, I wasn't there seeking to prove anyone wrong. I was almost like I didn't feel deserving of. I felt like I didn't have the capacity or the talent, even though I loved to sing and loved to dance and loved to draw. And, you know, even though I was smart, I didn't love myself enough to appreciate the other talents that I had. So I overlooked myself a lot. I always dummied myself down. I always doubted myself. And I think that when I do talk to my younger self, you know, I just remind her that it does get better. You know, I suffered a lot in silence with suicidal ideations, with, you know, depression and people that know me from as a child to now, some of them didn't even know. It's just my mom, my dad, my parents, obviously they knew. But everyone else around me, when I talk about it now, because it's no longer this taboo thing to talk about, friends from grammar school, high school, they're like, I had no idea, you know? And it's not because I was parading it. One of the things that I learned, even coming out of an abusive relationship that nearly killed me, was I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor. And that's always been my mentality. You know, there are people far in worse, deeper situations than me, and they're thriving. I'm not gonna sit here and wallow in this pool of self-pity and get people to validate me and make me feel good. That has to come from within. And I believe that when you start to see yourself as a survivor versus a victim, you start to attract greater and better things in your life.
Yeah, so that's amazing. Sounds like you've grown a lot over the past couple of years. What would your higher self say to you?
My higher self?
Your ultimate top level self. What would it, like, you've accomplished all the impact you've ever wanted to accomplish. You've helped millions of people. what would they say to you, or she say to you?
My higher self would smile down and say, baby girl, I love you so much and I'm so proud of you. I would take those words and know and understand exactly what they mean, because they understand everything.
Yeah.
Every single thing that I've been through, and know that there's so much more. Are you excited? Because there's more left for you to do. And for me, I've been able to help people on one-to-ones when I worked at the hospital as an LPN nurse. That was fulfilling. That was beautiful. I've been able to reach a mass worldwide, people that don't even speak English, that will see things, read things, translate things, and reach out to me and tell me how impactful things are. And to me, I know that I can give more and do more with the right direction, with the right, because for me as a creator, it's amazing to create. But when it comes to business, I'm just learning how to do things. You know, everyone's like, oh, you're a businesswoman. I'm like, you know, I'm not a, you know, like Jay-Z said, he goes, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. Yeah, I can be in the business world of things, but for me, it's heart and creativeness. Yeah. That other component needs to come in, and then we could shake and bake and do much deeper work that's healing and more impactful than what I've been able to do thus far. As an artist that does music, gets to act, gets to, you know, create and make other different things, it's great to have a reach, but for me, it's fine-tuning this one goal of mine that's existed in me even as a little girl that was crying in the closet in pain. You know, if I can reach, especially the youth, you know, and cover mental health and teach people how to love themselves. Because it seems so easy, right? You just gotta love yourself. I remember my mom telling me, tienes que quererte, you have to love yourself. And I'm like, that's so dumb, I love myself. But that's your ego and that's the rebellion in you. And to be able to see my messages in the outpour of men and women saying, I've seen your growth. I wanna be where you're at, how do I get there? Okay. You know, how do I reach these people and more people who want to? Because you can't help everybody, because not everybody wants helping. Yeah. And knowing that is half the battle, because then you're gonna just kill yourself. Like the relationships I was in, I burned myself and I died every single time because I tried to help these people that didn't want helping. And therefore, it didn't work out.
All right, so now what we're about to talk about is how Jessenia had about 4 million followers and then lost it all. And then how she took that experience and built up this new empire where she is today. And how she created an entire new identity throughout the entire process.
I believe that social media is such an amazing tool. It was when it first was created, and it is still now. It's how we use that tool that matters.
But since we're on the topic of like social media, what are some like strategies that you use?
I'll tell you from the beginning. The beginning for me, the strategies that I used was collaborating with people, being able to know that there comes power with numbers. You know, I think now is a beautiful time, especially as a woman, to see younger girls realizing that you don't have to compete with another woman. You can collaborate together, and there's more defining power in that. When I created my social media, I created it after coming out of an abusive relationship that deleted my account when I had millions of followers, okay? I never got that back. I had to start with 0. Because I knew people in the industry already, I was able to, hey, let me be in your skit. Hey, let's do this photo shoot and collab. Hey, and I was able to gain an audience. 1, people were able to find me that knew me from back then as Jessenia Vice, and 2, I was able to create content that just scattered around. As the years evolved, so did my brand. I started to, I don't want to be this eye candy for this skit that makes absolutely no sense and it just drains my energy. And that's okay. We're still peoples. You know, you're still my friend. I can come and help shoot it, but I'm not. So you start to learn what your brand is and your purpose, but collaboration is so key. Putting up content that you want to reflect is even much more of a key. I didn't do that then. I kind of just did everything I could under the sun because for me it was a number game. I had millions of followers. I can't just have 1,000 followers now. And now at 500,000 on my Instagram, people are always like, oh my God, you're almost at 1 million. Am I? Because I feel like I've been at 500,000 for the last 2 years, but I don't care anymore. My Facebook is growing. I have no idea how that's happening, but it's almost at 4.4 million. And I remember when I looked at it last, it was at barely 1 million. So
do you cross promote, like cross post?
I feel like the reason why my Facebook has done so well is because people do share. It's a lot easier. I definitely tell people don't sleep on Facebook. Facebook is very powerful. I still believe that Facebook and Twitter, a lot of people sleep on that. Yeah. TikTok is a really great tool. Zero to little effort on that, and I'm almost at 1 million. That's exciting. For me, it's exciting only because of one main reason. Mm-hmm. It was an app that I looked down upon and said, that's silly. Mm-hmm. I'm not in that age bracket. What am I gonna do with it? Seeing people around my age group, and then to see how impactful these small 15, 30-second clips can be for someone, has allowed me to now convert that into delivering messages. So a thought, a feeling, an emotion, I'll just throw it on a caption on a video, and seeing it go viral is exciting. But to see the comments, like today before I left the house, I saw something from a person, and it's actually a caption that I posted over my new song. Yeah. And he was like, thank you for sharing these lessons, which our generation needs more of. And all I had to say was, I'm happy to share what took me hard experiences to gain and learn. But whoever wants to take those lessons, you're more than welcome to take them. Yeah. If I can help you from some woes, great. Right.
So let's talk about music.
Let's talk about music.
Are you passionate about music? I know you were an actor as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple things I'll talk about. I want to talk about music, talk about your acting, and I want to talk about Vice, who that person was.
Yeah, so it's crazy because I'm a Virgo, first of all, and I believe that Virgos we're workaholics and we're creative, but we also just love to learn and apply and help and heal. So my music has been healing for myself and others, my original work. But music for me has been such a huge impact in my life for as far back as I can remember. Growing up out here in the East Coast, being an 80s baby, having brothers that are 13 years older than me, and then parents that are immigrants, the vast catalog and genre of music is so large and different from each other. To me, music is a vibe. It is. You're really literally feeling the vibration of sound that can make you feel good or it can make you not feel good. I like to put work out that's gonna make you feel good. My own personal stuff.
Do you tell your stories?
I do. So for my music, I use it as a healing tool for me. And my purpose of going through my life and putting into sound and vibration that'll live much longer than me. It's kind of a crazy thought to think about that right now. It's like, wow, even if I died at 90 or 100 or I died tomorrow, that my song is still gonna be around.
It's still impacting
and I'm
people.
still helping people, and it's still putting in that high frequency of good into this world, which we need so much of it.
Do you view content the same way as that?
I do. When it comes to what I create now and the message that I'm delivering versus 10 years ago when I was trying to play this catch-up game and a numbers game and I have to hit 1 million on Instagram because I used to have 4 million and no. To me, it's more of creating stuff that I'm proud of. Because as a woman that started her career as Vice, which was just a sexy body, exotic face, people didn't know that I was going to school to become a nurse. People didn't know that I was working at the hospital with an LPN license. They didn't know that I used to be overweight and heavy and that I wasn't looked at. They didn't know a lot of these things. They just saw a body and attached that to sex symbol.
And you think that's smart?
I think for me, when I first started, I started off as Kim Kardashian's lookalike winner on the Tyra Banks talk show. That was all accidental. But we all know that nothing in life is accidental. Yeah. The universe put me into that place for some reason. I won for some reason. I catapulted for some reason. I fell in love with an abusive person that nearly killed me and I lost it all for some reason. For me, I realized that being on national TV, being crowned by the sexiest female at the time and even still, and then being seen on a powerful platform like Tyra's show opened up so many opportunities. So it went from being this girl on print magazines on the covers of Maxim, FHM, you know, King, and all this other cool magazines, because magazines used to be in print back then, to then do even crazier things that I never thought. That little girl that was crying because she was being teased for being fat and didn't think that this would ever happen. My mom always reminded me, we didn't come to this country for you to do music. We didn't come into this country for you to do acting. But I was somehow an agent wanted to represent me, this and that, from a little girl on.
The universe just aligned
everything. So I took that and I realized that there were women that I looked at, that I loved and looked up to. Selena, rest in peace. You know, we had people that, Eva Longoria, Sofia Vergara, Salma Hayek, these were all women that started off as sexy, exotic women. What are they doing now? They're producing shows. Yeah. They're in the political world. They're giving back to organizations, creating organizations themselves. So if I can use my beauty to get your attention, then now I'm gonna give you a whole brain fuck because I have so much to say. Yeah. And using that, learning that now, I didn't know that 10 years ago, has been such a empowering and liberating thing for me, because it's like, okay, yeah, you know.
Attention is powerful, especially when it comes to changing and impacting the world.
Right.
I know a lot of people, you probably get a lot of hate too.
Yeah, I got a lot of hate. I mean, I was so ashamed back then.
Jessenia? Yeah, she thinks she's so hot. Well, she is. She's everywhere. I mean, I know, but still, she's probably a bitch. Did you really just leave a comment?
Do, you know, prestigious magazines like Maxim, but because it helped pay for my student tuition and helped me take care of things at home with my parents, I did it, because working at the hospital wasn't enough when you had student loans to pay. I wasn't proud of it, but it is something I look back now and I'm proud of, because who could say that they were on the cover of a prestigious, well-known magazine, on the cover of a billboard? Not many people. So now I take what I was ashamed of before and I use it as a sense of empowerment, as a tool. I'm an empath. Yeah. So I've always been drawn to people who have some type of deep-rooted pain, because we've all been there. And some people are too proud to share that, and other people can empathize. And I notice that a lot of the times people will self-destruct. And it's like, it's so sad to me when people, even as myself, as a younger girl who tried to take her life away, what if I did succeed? I wouldn't be here and accomplish all these cool things and inspire and help people and touch lives. I want to remind people that they have a purpose, whether it's big or small. As long as it's impactful and meaningful to you.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you that exact question. Is the reason you want to go after and help mental health people because you feel that every single person has a purpose on the planet?
We do. We have a purpose. I'm a firm believer of that. I'm not special. I'm not more special than someone just because I have a check mark or because I have such a large reach. I'm only special because I love what I do. And I care about what I do. But you're special too. The person that's watching this, you're special too.
So your past life, basically, where you were Jessenia Vice, and your new life where you are I Am Jessenia, what tools and resources did you use to actually make that transition happen?
So, you know, it's incredible, because it took my heart breaking for the last time with the wrong person and the pandemic for me to be in myself. And I'm gonna share with you the first day of the breakup. I mean, it was horrible. I didn't see it coming. I was devastated. And on top of that, the world was just dealing with so much down, negative energy, and fear. And there I was, 35 years old, had this plan, this future with them that now was no longer. It's like you had to deal with a loss of a loved one. It's like grieving someone who died. And then on the top of that, your dreams are dying. The goals that you set are dying. The you that existed with them dies too. And at that time, I remember thinking, crap, I can't go see my parents. I can't go run to a shoot and hang out. I can't go into the studio. I'm stuck here. And I remember thinking that if I'm stuck here with just my thoughts, what is it going to have me think, and what am I capable of doing? And I didn't want to go spiral into that dark space when I was 16, 18, 23, 33, thinking about just killing myself. So I sat there and I called my brother, and I said to him, I need some help because I'm scared, I am alone, and there's something that is constantly happening, and I just need to learn what this is, and it needs to stop. I don't want to live like that no more. I was like, I need a therapist. I need someone to check up on me every 15, 20 minutes. I'm about to bag everything in trash cans, anything that's rope, sharp, pills, and I'm gonna just come pick them up. And at that very moment, the biggest act of self-love for me was to make sure that I was safe and to take accountability of what I was capable of doing and what I did not want to do. It was making that choice. And seeking therapy was the biggest thing for me. That was the biggest act of self-love for me, was calling my insurance, telling them I need a therapist, having someone from social media reach out to me because I was praying on it and the universe gifted me. A friend of mine that was working on a project with a spiritual retreat ends up calling me, so manifestation is so real. And I remember when all that happened within the first 24 hours of how powerful we are with intent and how special I was to survive myself in all those different phases of my life, and how much love I actually loved myself with, I've had exes who have literally beaten me, used me, and all this other stuff, and flipped the script. Boo-hoo me, she's fucked up because she didn't want to marry me. I didn't want to marry you because you beat the shit out of me. And narcissists will do that. They will always project themselves as the victim when meanwhile they're victimizing someone. I don't have children. I lost my pregnancy because of my abusive ex. And it was difficult, and it was a long time ago, but I realized that in some selfish, fucked up way, I was actually relieved when that baby was gone. I mean, I was sad because I had life in me, but I was relieved that I didn't have to deal with this person forever.
So what do you do when you're in a place of fear? So this is what we're about to talk about right now. Jessenia actually goes over her top 3 things to do where you're in a really dark place. So let's go and listen to what she says next. So how do you advise people who are afraid?
I advise people that it's okay to be afraid. There's a book out there called The Gift of Fear that comes, there's just with everything, there's a pro and a con. But when it comes to fear of your self-potential, I just want you to remind yourself, look at yourself in the mirror and really remind yourself that if you want it that bad, you are capable. There's 2 things that you can do. You can say I can or I can't. And either one of them is real. Either one of them is real. I can do this or I cannot do it. You can do it or you cannot do it. So which one do you want to become your reality? I choose I can.
That was powerful. What? That was amazing. That was powerful. See? That was right there. Yeah. Where can people find you?
Okay.
And how can they get more involved in whatever you're doing?
So you can find me on social media. All you have to do is search I am Jessenia, and you'll find that on every social media platform. Spelling my name might be tricky, Jessenia. Right now I have a little brand that I'm learning to put love into, and I want to see that baby grow. It's called You Love You. It's a self-love movement. I believe the theme of my life has always been that greatest lesson, and it took me almost 35 years to, ding, I get it now, you know? And I'll say it, and I know people can see it, but I have never been this happy. Like, the reflection of what you see outside is the reflection of inside. The smile that I used to hide behind when I was in a lot of pain, physically and literally, well, now I feel almost zero to little pain. I'm happy, and I feel so optimistic about the future, where before I was just so afraid.
All right, so that's it, guys. That was episode 1 of my new series. Now, if you like this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, and also drop me a comment. What did you guys think about this video, and what artist should I interview next?
Me, come as a bitch, I let her take you out. You cannot control